The Rise of Power by Casey Howard. As a hunter tied his horse's reins to a tree branch, he listened as his companions spoke amongst themselves. The group had gathered around a large opening of a series of tunnels. "Is this the place, sir?" asked a large, burly man assigned to lead a group of soldiers enlisted to protect the hunters and the king's ambassador, the second prince. The group had been traveling for months to reach these tunnels, avoiding death by monsters bent on preventing them from reaching their destination. If these were not the tunnels they were looking for, as they all hoped, then their quest would be for nothing. "This is it," the prince stated, as he unceremoniously stepped inside, forcing a couple of soldiers to hurry in after him. "Come along, Aspen, before they leave us behind." "Heaven knows they would," ordered the older hunter to the younger. Aspen turned to the older man, glanced back into the forest, and then followed the group into the tunnels, his heart in his gut, fearing all the possible outcomes that might befall them all. The torches held by the prince and two hunters illuminated their path, but only enough to help them avoid tripping over their own feet or any possible critter living along the floors of the dark, damp, and seemingly abandoned tunnels. After hours, which felt like days to Aspen, and wandering aimlessly searching for something unknown to Aspen, the group wandered into a large cavern. The space held pools of water scattered around and little vegetation, but in the center of the cavern stood a hooded figure. While the others stood back, staring at the figure with hostility and fear, the prince just handed his torch to Aspen, who stood beside him and stepped in front of the group, watching the figure. "Are you the immortal?" he asked, his voice bouncing off the walls of the cavern in every direction. "That is what people call me," spoke the immortal, its voice barely above a whisper, though somehow it's still managing to reach every ear, sounding to Aspen as indefinable as female or male. "What do you call yourself?" "That does not matter. What matters is why you are here." "My men and I have come to ask for your help in stopping the monsters which are terrorizing my people." "I know." "Then will you come back with us?" The prince's voice rose in anticipation of a positive answer. "I will not, but we need you in order to stand a chance." The prince, to Aspen's surprise, began to plead with him or her for their help, his voice strained in desperation. "I did not say I would not help, Prince. How can you help if you do not come back with us?" he asked, confused. Aspen did not know how to understand it either. If the immortal wouldn't go back to their country with them, then how could it help them save their people? "Those of you here will obtain my mark. The shape and color of the mark will symbolize something to either you or the power it grants you, which will differ from person to person. Your children will also be born with my mark. However, they will not be able to access power until their 10th year. You are to use these powers against the monsters only." As the last sentence left the immortal, his voice held a threatening tone, no longer a whisper, and it caused a chill to run down Aspen's spine. Just as the prince began to question the immortal, he held an arm up over his head, and with that, Aspen felt a sharp, stabbing pain burn its way along the skin of his shoulder under his sleeve. He gasped out, dropping his torch and grabbing at his pained shoulder. The others around him gasped in pain as well. But before he could look to see if they were all right, his vision began to fade and he lost consciousness. Aspen awoke outside of the tunnels, lying on the forest floor with his horse standing over him, nuzzling at his cheek. His companions around him were waking up as well, or have yet to woken, all confused as he was. The pain in his shoulder remained, and on inspection he realized a green mark in the shape of a leaf rested upon his bicep. Whatever had happened had not been a dream. The end.